there would be no serious accidents. Father, we ask for your blessing and we ask for wisdom. And in your Son's name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Gail, you seen these?
Just us
Gail?
that were.
Have you seen these?
Yeah, yes, yours.
Take a look.
We are live.
We'll call the meeting to order and begin with our pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, and within that approval to strike item number 4 for the Infotech quote. The bids came under the budget authority to rest with the department. I do want to indicate there'll probably only be 2 computers purchased rather than 4. So,
And
Right.
I would like to add an executive session for personnel also. I
Okay.
won't make a habit of that, but
Make a motion to approve the agenda, striking line item 4 and adding executive session personnel pursuant as requested by Will Jones.
so that on the personnel one?
What's
Okay, all right, because I just wanted to codify which one it was.
It's SDCL 125-2, parent 1.
Okay, all right. Motion is made and second. Discussion with regard to the agenda. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from last meeting are found on pages 1, 2, and 3. And this will be from the June 16th meeting.
Move approval is printed.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and approved, seconded to approve the minutes of our last council meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Public input?
I have something.
Yes, please.
There are a lot of little things that get done through the course of every day, every week, and every year that city employees do and the community do that make this place just a better place. And living in Miller, sometimes we take things for granted. One of the things that I really appreciate is the park, is Crystal Park. Down over the years, there's been a lot of work put into that. There's been a lot of volunteer work put into it. There's been a lot of city work put into it. There's been efforts to do grants to improve the facilities. There are people that camp there. And one of the things, and it is very much a benefit to the city. I go and walk in it sometimes. It's a wonderful thing and a lot of effort, and I'm very thankful for the effort that is put in by the city and city employees to keep that up and keep it going. It's a process and not an event. For more than 20 years, First Baptist Church has done Vacation Bible School in the park at the pavilion. We did it last week. It was a good time. Had a lot of kids there. They got to hear the gospel. The team really enjoyed it, and they really enjoyed Miller's hospitality. So, and this is one of those things I called Ron and asked his permission. You know, is it all right to use it? And he always says yes. But it's nice for us. That is a nice thing that the city does and that the city maintains, and it's very much appreciated. And I appreciate it, and First Baptist Church very much appreciates it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pastor Will.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
I've got one. We had races scheduled over the weekend. We did get one in out of 2. we had drivers from Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri here. And the fellow that runs that particular sprint car series, and they were very impressed with our city and our community. They attended the parade and thought that was just awesome for a small town. They went to the thing at the Legion, the whatever the four-wheeler rodeo thing was, and some of them went down to the park. I also had a gentleman that called me the week before. He was coming through from Wisconsin, wanted to come to the races. And I called him back on Friday to tell him we'd got rained out, but we were gonna try to go Saturday. Well, I'll be there, I'm in here. Well, he shows up about, mid-afternoon, wanted to know where he could park his camper, so I showed him. Enjoyed the races, talked to him that night. The next morning, he gets up and tells me he did the same thing. He watched the parade, he went to the rodeo, he went to the park, rode his electric bike 3.5 miles through here, and then he says, I'm gonna go pick up trash at the racetrack now. I said, you don't gotta do that. Oh, yeah, he says, most people wanna charge me when I go park. He said, you've been so nice, and he was just really couldn't say enough good things about our community, so. Just want to let everybody know what you're doing is working.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? To piggyback off that, I do want to commend everybody or all the entities that made this last weekend what it was, because it was very enjoyable. And a lot of people from out of town took part in it, and I'd like to, thank Allison and the girls in there too for making the signs for the golf cart for the city too. So anyway, so I just, appreciate all the feedback with regard to this last weekend. Okay, so anything else? Okay. Moving forward, department heads, those are found on pages 4 through 15.
Ted, I got one question. And it's kind of you and Cindy. Do we have a special account for, like, that we operate the warrant arrest money? Or does it just go through our general fund account?
None of it comes through our office. All the arrest, the tickets, all that goes up to the courthouse.
But this is when we actually take the money for a 10% cash or surety bond.
So we just talked about this.
Okay.
I don't have a account to deposit any money into. So, and it's maybe a little unique as far as small towns with police departments. In most cases, you take them to jail and the jail takes money and bonds people out. So in that arrest that's listed, they paid their bond to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
They have an account.
Okay.
Because then the money has to go to the clerk of court.
I had forgotten about it when I heard about it last week, and I just was reading through and I saw that. So I just didn't know if we needed to get any account set up for taking that type of money, or if it's not needed at
I
this
don't
time.
know if it's possible, because I think we talked about there could be a minimum deposit amount.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know much about it.
Or is it just not needed?
I don't think it's needed because it's rare. And we do have an avenue of how we handle it.
Okay. Nope, I just,
It would take setting up a whole nother account, auditing that account. I don't know if it would have to be separate from our checking account. So if that's the case, then we'd have to open another account at the bank and then go through all the minimum having to be in, what needs to be in there.
right. No, I just didn't know, because you guys got another one last fall, and that was a $50,000 warrant. Got done out of Dewdrop, I think. You've had a couple.
That was $250,000.
It was $250,000.
Yeah,
But he didn't
come up
bond
with
out.
that.
He didn't come up with that, so. No, I just know it is, you guys are stepping up your game, so you're getting more of these, so I just didn't know what you felt needed to be done. If we needed to do something, or as we're working right now is working.
Maybe not close the door on it.
Yeah.
If it becomes more of an issue that,
We don't have to come
Look
up with
at
any answers tonight, but
Yeah.
I just figured I'd bring it up and see if we needed to do something of the account side of it, so. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
And what was referred to was, there was a out-of-state warrant. That was, an arrest was made, and 10% of that comes back to the city, but is transferred to the state, or the,
Yeah, we just received that.
we just receive it? Okay,
It doesn't actually go into our books, but
okay,
If somebody has a warrant with a bond amount, the money ultimately goes to the court that
Okay.
has issued the warrant.
all right,
So it's not, nobody gets the money.
okay, sounds
Goes to
good,
the clerk of courts.
just for clarity, okay, good. All right. Anything else with the police department? Street department, do you want to ask the question, or do you want me to?
You asked.
Well, I know the answer now, because on item number N under this, street department, I didn't, I was kind of concerned there, but you did,
I did have that. I didn't even spell check for crying out loud.
did he
but
need help?
you meant weed eating, not eating.
Weed eat,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Although I would help him eat if you
Well.
wanted me to.
Anyway, so,
Well, it made sense in my head, so.
yeah, well, it's, I had to take a double check. The roads are all coming pretty good with regard to everything on track, and everything with
Yeah,
regard to,
actually today I was going to start, dig around the manholes on the landfill road and raise them all up to where they should be, because we've placed a bunch of gravel on them, or base course on them, so we can oil them. So we were gonna raise them up, but with the weather coming, we didn't wanna get in trouble. We were checking storm drains and getting ready for weather that unfortunately didn't come. We do need some rain, we don't need the garbage
Okay.
with it, but.
all right,
So we're gonna try to raise them up. I talked to Tony, he might be getting some concrete, if not, I thought I'd talk to Will, but he thought he was gonna have some coming, cause all we're gonna do is just widen, the manholes are about, they're 27 inches, something like that. And we're gonna go out about that far around them. So if you hit them in the wintertime, you'll slide over them rather than stop and break things, so. There's 3 that I know, and there might be a valve, I'm not sure.
okay,
So we wanted to raise them up, so they're not underneath a bunch of oil. Terry don't like that when he needs to get them when it's 20 below out, so.
yeah, understand.
But other than that, we'll be getting them ready to oil, so.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Ron? Other than that you and Craig weren't eating.
We're
you're
not
weeding.
eating.
You're weeding.
Weeding.
Weeding,
I guess we were eating together on Monday when Gordy.
okay, yeah,
We're breaking bread.
all right. Anything other questions with regard to Terry or Dustin with regard to their departments? Anything you want to add, Dustin? Go ahead.
Not really add, but just still a question. If anybody would like to go to the Heartland Summer Conference, I kind of need to know so I can,
What's the dates?
I believe it's,
July 15th is what you have listed here.
yeah,
Tuesday.
yep, next week. And I think the deadline or whatever to get you a shirt or whatever I need to do tomorrow.
I'll go with you.
Okay, well, I think the
you
girls
said
are going
girls
too, I
go.
just
Okay.
trying to
You have to
register-
probably go
register
early?
everybody.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Okay. And if anybody else figures it out, just send me a text or something in the morning and I can sure do it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Think Terry or Cindy? The election workshop, I think the deadline is this Friday to notify them. That's on July 16th and 17th. Is that Thursday and Friday, if I remember correct? Is that right?
Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday, okay. That's 9 o'clock, so,
Do we have to change anything in our statutes about when our election is then?
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Okay,
SDML is getting together with other entities to talk about that too, and see what that's gonna look like. But they have encouraged us to start talking to the school and the county, figure that out.
they've been anticipating this coming down as far as that measure.
They were really hoping it wasn't gonna pass.
Yeah,
But it did,
Yeah.
so here we are.
Okay.
They're rewriting the entire election law pertaining to municipalities.
okay,
Whose brainstorm was that?
yeah.
I have to
Anyway.
look that up.
And that pertains to all school and municipal elections being held on the same day,
Yeah.
Just in the odd years,
odd years,
it's either odd or even.
yeah, so.
And then we get to choose whether we have our election in June or November. April is no longer an option.
Well, at least we don't have to petition around when it's really cold. On the bright side.
I would say something, but I won't say anything, okay? Any questions with regard to that? You did talk about the department heads and the finance committee as far as summarizing their budget review and stuff, so we are looking, plan on, it says for the 26th, the committees, please plan to meet with your department heads during the month of August. Thought we did an excellent job last year, with regard to the budget and getting everything in line and not have to hurry up at the last minute to pass it. I thought there was a lot of discussion, a lot of, time taken, with that regard, and it feels a lot better when we do it that way and stuff, so, it worked out well, so, anyway. Anything else on that? Okay, moving forward, old business, bereavement leave, that can be found on page 16.
Before you move on, does anyone have any questions regarding the halfway point through this year's budget on pages 9
Oh,
through 15?
15.
Was there anything that you wanted to point out or look at?
Nope, I mean, we budgeted pretty tight, and it's like right there, so stick to it.
You
That's how
know,
it's supposed to work, though, isn't it?
yeah.
Yep,
That's a tribute to the council, and that's also a tribute to the department heads and their department too, because it was a tight budget this year, and I know the only reason I did, I know after reviewing it, I sat down with Cindy today and, okay, are we missing something that we need to take a good look at? And she had the same comment that everything's going well and in accordance, so good for everybody. All right, thank you for that. Thanks for the question, too. Bereavement policy, basically what's highlighted has been added, and what's been struck has been deleted, right? Now, I'm just going to read through this. 7.10-A, personal emergency leave. If necessary, qualified municipal employees may use accrued sick leave for personal emergency. This leave may be used for the following: death in the immediate family. Immediate family is defined as an employee's spouse, parents, step-parents, children. Siblings, that's including miscarriages. It's siblings, step-siblings, siblings and step-siblings, spouses, grandparents, grandchildren, great-grandparents, great-grandchildren. The term also includes a spouse equivalent to the above. Emergency illness or scheduled surgery in the immediate family. The amount of sick leave to be used for personal leave is to be limited to 80 hours per week if previously occurred. This leave does not accumulate from year to year. And the employees have the option to donate a portion of their accrued sick leave to a coworker for emergency leave upon council approval. Recipients must use their accrued sick leave and vacation prior to the use of the donated sick hours. This is the bereavement policy, which will be 7.10-B. Qualified municipal employees may obtain bereavement leave upon the death of a family member. This leave is to consist of up to 3 work days per incident with no cap and to be administered by the department head and mayor. This leave is not subject to sick leave. Attendance at a funeral other than family would come under the realm of personal leave Family includes those defined in policy 7.10-A, personal emergency leave. So I'd entertain a motion to approve that addition to our policy.
I move to approve personal emergency leave and bereavement leave.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion has been made and second to, with regard to the personal emergency leave and the bereavement leave as stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. New business, building permit application, Randy Foreman Shed.
Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Mayor, I would move that we approve the building permit application of Randy Foreman for the shed. Second.
Discussion?
I looked at that, there's a little more room than as I remembered it, so I talked with Randy and we're good with it, so
Okay,
it's a go.
good. Any other discussion? Okay, motion is made and second to approve the building permit application for Randy Foreman for the shed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. New business. Building permit for Steve and Sarah Mitchell, a gazebo.
I'd move approval of the building permit for Steve and Sarah Mitchell for a gazebo.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve this building permit for Steve and Sarah Mitchell for their gazebo. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program that funded 17 and 18.
This is Department of Justice or a Public Safety grant opportunity. It's up to 100%. And they also have the option to offer partial funding, $25,000 max per agency. And I plan to apply for the same thing that I came and talked to you guys about before with the Homeland Security grant for laptops and the computer system for those laptops for the patrol cars.
Okay,
Make a motion granting Ted to apply for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program.
Second.
discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to apply for the Edwin Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3 is the land near the high school. This is for the land with regard to the retired substation. I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, that sub over by the school, by the track. It's been said that the school had give that to the city. I haven't done research, but then as soon as the city was done with it, it'd go back to the school. We basically have been getting it cleaned up and it's getting there. I've had talks with the school and I just wanna make sure everybody's on the same page. If that's okay, if we move forward with that and give that back. I don't know why we would.
And I'll have Cindy, because this afternoon, she did some research on it, and she shared the information for the process, and it's going to be, I'll have you explain.
We will do a resolution to give the property back to the school, and then I'll have the attorney draw up the deed to do that, and then we'll have to inform Eric Norden, and I'm sure they'll have to accept it back. It's pretty clean, pretty easy.
So it's just a short process, which we will be on the agenda for next
Sure.
meeting and stuff, so.
Sure.
Okay? As far as our obligation, anything do we have to do anything more over there or are you planning on doing anything more that is being
We're
done?
gonna get a little bit more fill and some stuff in there, but I'll be talking with him, to see what they would like to take care of and do, cause we took the fence down on the inside. But I don't know if he wants to go ahead and keep them posts and cut it down and make the fence match, or for now, if he's fine with how it is. If we got the fence out of there, we could get a little bit rock. It's just kind of what their plans are.
Okay.
We'll have to look, so.
Sounds good. All right. Any questions? All right, thank you, Dustin.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Okay, item number 5, Helms and Associate invoice 36,280 and 36,295 for a total of $4,502.49. That is found on page number 20, I believe, yeah, 20. And basically, that's for the airport taxiway reconstruction and access road, and also for the Miller Airport AWASP 3 project.
Okay, I move to approve Helms and Associates invoices 36280 and 36295 for $4,502.49.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, a motion is made and second to approve Helms and Associate invoice 36280 and 36295 for a total of $4,502.49. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 6 in regard to the Phase 4 utility improvement. McGuire Iron is on pages 21 to 22 with regard to their information, and I don't think that really takes anything other than okay. And then McGuire Iron pay app number 2, the final one, found on 23 and 24, that's for $4,875. That's what we're looking at.
McGuire Iron finally got Camden all the necessary documents to finalize this. It's been done for a while. So if you vote tonight to pay them the remaining $48.75 of the $50,000 bid, it can be done. But we'll need a motion to approve that change order to extend that time, and a motion to approve the pay application number 2.
Separate motions?
No.
Make a motion that we accept the,
Extend their time.
extend the time, the extension, and then also approve the pay app for $48.75.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion has been made and seconded to extend the McGuire Iron item number 1 and the McGuire Iron pay application number 2, the final payment to them of the $50,000 original bid of $4,875. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next one on the item was SPN invoices 36,323 and 36,327 for the total of $72,968.40. Those can be found on 25 through 27. And that basically deals with the Phase 4 utility improvements. Phase 4 utility improvements, Phase 4 all the way through, and the last Phase 4 improvements as far as water, and then the improvements for the sanitary and sewer. So it's a total of those invoices, each of those invoices.
Make a motion, we pay SPN invoices 36323 through 36327, totaling $72,968.40.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to pay SPN invoices 36,323 through 36,327 for a total amount of $72,968.40. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The last one is TL Olson Construction, the pay app number 9 for $852,049.55. That information is found on 28 through 33.
Make a motion to pay TLC Olson Construction, pay app number 9 for $852,049.55.
Second?
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to pay TL Olson Construction, pay app number 9 for $852,049.55. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, before each one of you go down to item number 7, and I think this is a good reminder for all of us that we kind of, remind each other with regard to the expectations with regard to open meeting laws. I will not read through everything. I will go through each of the questions and the answers. If you notice, and the question and the answers are found from page 2 through page 5, and then all the codified law references that you can go back and read through as far as the interpretation are on pages 5 or 6, 7, and 8. So as far as the getting there. And we are required by, the governing boards are required by law to review open meeting law brochure annually at a public meeting and then document the review in their minutes. And so anyway, I'm just going to go through some of the questions. What are South Dakota open meeting laws? Basically, a public is entitled to the greatest possible information about the public affairs. It encourages public participation, and this goes codified law, chapter 1-25. Meetings must be public and advance notice. A definition of an official meeting is we have to have a quorum of the public body is present and at which official business or public policy of the body is discussed or decided. I'm not reading everything, but I'm just, highlighting some of the highlights. And if somebody wants to comment or ask questions, we sure can do that. Who does the open meeting laws apply to? All public bodies and its political subdivisions, and it goes on and includes which one of them. So long as they have the authority to exercise the sovereign power. Okay, and this council at this time has that authority. Although no court decisions have been issued, it probably does not include bodies that serve only in advisory capacity. Okay, so that hasn't really been handed down, but that's pretty much as understood with regard to this. Are teleconferences considered public meetings? And the answer is yes. And I'm just, at the top of the next page is teleconferences where less than a quorum of the public body is present at the location open to the public. Arrangements must be made for the public to listen by telephone or the internet, in which we have that provision right now. The public must be notified of the teleconference meeting under the same notice requirements as any other meeting. Have we ever had a teleconference?
We've had a couple of times where we had a council member come in over the phone.
Yeah.
To be present.
Yeah, in that situation, absolutely. On that one, I knew of those, but I wasn't sure of anything else prescribed.
We can't hold a quorum in an email chain or a text chain or anything like that. We can't be in a position to discuss anything with a quorum.
True, yeah.
I
okay.
believe that's why it's regarding an electronic means.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
why we don't hear it.
Okay. Now, the next question is, how are public and media notified when the public business is being discussed? This is according to Codified Law 1-25-11 requires promptly post a notice and a copy of the proposed agenda at the political subdivision's principal office, which it is notified on the window outside by the door. That include the date, the time, the location, and it must be visible, readable, and accessible. It must be public for 24 consecutive hours immediately preceding the meeting. Political subdivisions has its own website. Notice must be posted on the website. Special or scheduled meetings of the subdivision must comply with the regular meeting notice requirements as much as circumstances permit. And we're going to talk about that too, because there might be an emergency situation if it's a deemed emergency that we don't aren't able to give the notice, then that's going to be addressed too. Circumstance, the notice must be delivered to all local news medias who have asked to be notified. In our case, only one has, and that would be the Miller Press. Going down to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-1.3, very slightly. The first part just deals with the state. Reading through that, correct me, I don't think that deals with us per se, so, okay? If you see anything different, please notice that, or note of that. Who are the local news medias? There's no definition here, but it is defined in codified, South Dakota Codified Law 13-1-57, generally is a personnel of the newspaper. The Attorney General is of opinion that the local newspaper is all the news media, broadcast and print, that regularly carry the news to the committee. So that would be the one that would be notified. Is a public comment period required at public meetings? The answer is yes. But the body has the discretion to limit the public comment as to the time allowed for each topic. And then if a public comment period is not required for a meeting held solely for the purpose of executive session, there is no requirement there. Can public meetings be recorded? And this one, after reading it, is from an outside source, and the answer is yes. This is according to Codified Laws 1-25-11, but there are certain stipulations. Bodies can allow recording, audio or video, of their meetings if the recording is reasonable, obvious, and not disruptive. And this does not apply to any meeting that is confidential or closed to the public. Okay? When can a meeting be closed to the public and the media? And this is Codified Law 1-25-2. There are actually 6 things. Number 2 applies to a school because it deals with students and their participation. Number 1, to discuss personnel issues pertaining to officers or employees. Like I said, number 2, it looks like it's just more or less to a school. Number 3, consulting with legal counsel or reviewing communications for legal counsel about proposed or pending litigation or contractual matters. Number 4, employee contract negotiation. Number 5, to discuss marketing or pricing strategies of a publicly owned competitive business. And number 6, to discuss information related to the protection of public or private property. It may be appropriate to comport with other laws that require confidentiality. So if it's required there, that comes into play. It caused entities to conduct executive session or conduct meetings to refrain from releasing confidential information. May also be closed by cities or councils for certain economic development matters. And any official action based on discussions in executive session must, however, be made in open meeting. And I have to commend the council. We've done an excellent job with regard to that. When we go into an executive session, we discuss what we go into executive session for, and that's it. And then there's no type of voting, even straw votes in executive session. If we come out and if there's something to be voted on, we'll vote on it or act on it. And if it's just more or less for informational purposes, we'll just leave it and then no action is taken. What is the proper procedure for executive sessions? First of all, a motion for executive session must refer to the specific state of or federal law allowing for the executive session. That's just like when Councilman Jones requested an executive session, we wanted to make sure we put in with regard to for the pursuant of what. Pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 125-23, also a best practice that public bodies explain the reason for going into executive session. For example, the purpose to, I know this, that portion of the codified law, for purposes of discussing a personal matter. We don't have to say what the personal matter, personal or personnel matter is, but that's the reason we go into it. And if I say something out of line or you want to discuss, we sure can. For the purpose of consulting with legal counsel, and this is discussion in executive session, I just referred to it, strictly limited to the announced subject. No official vote may be taken. The public body must return to open session before any official action can be taken, and board members can be held personally liable for the results of an official vote that takes place in executive session, and then it goes on and explains that, for example, a contract approved only during executive session could be found void, and the board members could be required to repay any public funds spent under the contract. So when it talks about we are personally reliable, that means we are liable, not because of our act and stuff. So next question, what happens if the media or public is improperly excluded from a meeting or other violations of the open meeting law occurs? And there's a couple here too. Excluding the media or the public that has not been properly closed subjects, the public body or the members involved. A, prosecution as a Class 2 misdemeanor, punishable by the maximum sentence of 30 days in jail, a $500 fine, or both. And then B, reprimand by the Open Meeting Commission. The same penalties apply if the agenda of the meeting is not properly posted or other open meeting violations occur. Also, action taken during any meeting that is not open or has not been properly noticed could, if challenged, be declared null and void. It could even result in personal liability for members of the governing body involved, depending upon the action taken. How are issues referred to the Open Meetings Commission, or the OMC? Persons alleging violations of the open meeting laws will make their complaints to the law enforcement officials in that county. They will have to have a signed and notarized complaint is made under oath, and any necessary investigation is conducted. The state's attorney may prosecute the case of misdemeanor, B, find that the matter has no merit, or C, forward the complaint to the OMC for a determination. And then the OMC would examine it, and they would make a written public findings explaining its reasoning behind its outcome. What does the term sovereign power mean? There's no definition, but generally it means the power to levy taxes, impose penalties, make special assessments, create ordinances, abate nuisance, regulate the conduct of others, or perform other traditional governmental functions. It may include the exercise of many other government functions as well. Those are just examples. That's not a limitation of them. May agenda items be considered if they are added less than 24 hours before a meeting? Proposed agenda for public meetings must be posted at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting. Advance notice of the topics to be discussed. Provide the information to interested members. Typically, the public body adopts the final agenda upon convening the meeting. At the time the final agenda is adopted, the governing body may add or delete agenda items and, let's go back. Yeah, may add or delete agenda items and may also change the order of business. Now, there was a situation in Yankton that refers to that one there too. New items cannot be added to the agenda, has been adopted by the governing body. I have this question, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to go there anyway. Because the special executive session was added to,
We hadn't approved the agenda yet.
Right.
We hadn't approved the agenda yet.
okay, so we're okay, that's where I'm at and stuff, so, and besides, okay, all right. Then also, posting less than 24 hours in advance may be permissible in emergencies, and I think we talked about that earlier. Something all of a sudden came up that we needed to meet, we can, but again, it has to be an emergency situation. Our email discussion meetings for the purposes of open meeting laws. The definition of an official meeting by South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-12, subdivision 3, references teleconferences. It includes the exchange of information via the internet or any other electronic medium, and that's the key thing, the exchange. When I have exchange, we give something and we get something back. I don't know if it includes, now this might take a lawyer, for just more or less being informed. Okay? I'm just putting that out there, which I want to get more clarification on. But nothing's going to be exchanged. It's just going to provide information. Email discussions that include a quorum of a public body and which discuss the official business of that body could be considered meetings. And we don't want to do that, nor have we. Email participation and scheduling or similar activity would not, under this analysis, constitute public meeting. Okay? And then also, we contact committees by email to notify them that, if we're going to do a meeting for whatever purposes, we do that. But not everybody is notified, just that committee is. And there's only 3 people on that committee, so it does not constitute as a quorum. What records must be available to the public in conjunction with a public meeting? This is South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-1.4. And then it goes down and it requires state boards and commissions. That doesn't apply to us. The next one does. South Dakota Codified Law 1-27-1-16 requires any other public body must post meeting materials on the public body's website or make those materials available to the public at least 24 hours prior to the hearing or when made available to the members of the public body, whichever is the latter. And it goes on to South Dakota Codified Law 1-27-1.17. Minutes of the public meetings must be made available to the public at the principal place of business for the public body within 10 business days after the meeting, or made available on the website for the public body within 5 business days. These laws are in addition to any specific requirements for public bodies. And the last one, what requirements apply to task force and committees and working groups? It created by task force and committees that exercise sovereign power and are created by the statute, ordinance, or proclamation are required to comply with the open meeting laws. Groups that are not created by statute, ordinance, or proclamation or are advisory only may not be subject to the open meeting laws. Ultimately, if such advisory task force, such as a committee and working groups, present any reports or recommendation to the public body must wait until the next meeting or later before taking up the final action or recommendation. I think that happened one time that I think we were discussing something in a committee. Correct me if I'm wrong, and well, we did not act on it or we weren't going to act on it. I think it was just, if we were, it had to be referred to the next meeting and stuff. So these are also available, are they available online I'm sure they are available online if anybody would like to go through it. And like I said, on pages 6, 7, and 8 of this brochure are the additional information with regard to that. Okay? Questions or comments? All right. And like I said, I think we do a good job, but that's one thing that I do not take for granted. I think you have people's trust until you lose it. Okay? And I'd like to reassure that we try to maintain the up and up with regard to the expectation that the public has for each of us. So anyway. Also, we have a correspondence on page, any questions with regard to that? Okay, on page 34, with regard to the South Dakota Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources, with regard to the permits. Okay? Does anybody want to add to that? Okay. Okay, now just again, if you're planning on going to that municipal, what am I talking, the 16th,
The summer conference.
yeah, summer conference, we have to know by Friday. Okay, that's the registration deadline.
No, we need to know that by tomorrow.
Oh,
If you
by
want to
tomorrow?
go to the, yes. If
Okay,
you
by
wanna go-
tomorrow.
If you want to go to the elected officials workshop, we need to know that by Friday.
That's by Friday. Okay, thank you for the correction. Okay,
Okay.
anything else? Okay,
Move approval of the bills.
Second.
discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and seconded to approve all the bills that are submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We're in executive session.
Y'all have a good evening.
Yes, and thank you, Pastor, and thank you too for your comments.
Thank you all.
You bet.
No, it was hot when your son burned a tan on him.
In for Texas.